Unit 4, page 31. Read. Exercise 3. Read and listen to the text.
An award for bravery. The George Cross is the highest award for bravery that a civilian in the UK can receive. It's named after King George VI, who decided to create the award in 1940. Since then, fewer than 160 people have received it, all of them for performing acts of exceptional heroism. The youngest recipient is John Bamford. John received the award in 1952 at the age of 15, after he suffered dreadful injuries while rescuing members of his family from a horrific fire at their home in Nottinghamshire. The fire broke out in the early hours of the morning of the 19th of October 1952. In the house at the time were John, his parents, and his 5 younger brothers and sisters. When John and his father realized that something was wrong, they went downstairs to investigate. They opened the living room door and were horrified to see the interior of the room suddenly burst into flames. The heat was so intense that John and his father couldn't get back upstairs to help the rest of the family. Instead, they climbed up the front of the house and managed to help John's mother and 3 of the children out of the bedroom window and onto a flat roof. They knew that 2 children remained inside the burning building. John and his father climbed inside. They could hear the distressed cries of the 2 remaining children, who were only 4 and 6 years old, coming from a back bedroom. The father covered himself with a blanket and made a heroic attempt to reach the children. But before he could get to them, the blanket caught fire and the searing flames drove him back. Telling his father to wait outside at the back of the house, 15-year-old John then crawled through the flames and into the bedroom. Despite the agonizing burning sensation as the flames set fire to his shirt, he carried on until he reached his 2 younger brothers. They were on the bed, terrified. John picked them up and dropped the younger of the 2 boys out of the window and into his father's arms. But the elder boy was so dazed that he ran back through the burning room. John knew that he could jump to safety, but he refused to leave without his brother. He chased the panic-stricken 6-year-old through the flames and eventually managed to catch him and drop him down to their father. By this time, John was almost unconscious from the heat, the thick smoke, and the pain. But somehow he managed to get one leg through the open window and fall to the ground below, exhausted. An ambulance rushed all 3 boys to hospital. The 2 younger boys soon recovered, but John did not return home until February of the following year after countless operations. While still in hospital, he received the George Cross for his outstanding bravery, and the newspapers printed the gripping story of his heroism.
Unit 4, page 34. Listen. Exercises 1 and 2. Listen to 4 teenagers talking about a personal hero. 1.
My own personal hero is my grandfather. He grew up on a farm and didn't really receive an education, not a formal education anyway. But then, as an adult, he decided that he didn't want to spend his life as a labourer, so he began studying at home. He taught himself maths, algebra, that kind of thing. It was difficult because he only had the evenings to study. He was working all day. Eventually, he managed to get an engineering qualification. He got a job, quite a junior position, with an engineering company, and then continued his studies in his spare time. He ended up with a university degree and an important, well-paid job. The reason he's my hero is that he never gave up. He wasn't born into a privileged family, but he was determined to better himself, and he achieved his goal.
2.
My hero is called Jenny, and she works for a charity in my local village. The charity looks after disabled children whose parents cannot take care of them. She organises special outings for the children, and she's also in charge of music lessons for them. I know that she could get a much better paid job if she worked in business, but she's decided that the most important thing for her is to do something worthwhile. For Jenny, it's all about job satisfaction, not money. I really admire her because although she has dedicated her life to helping others, she never boasts about it. She just says that she wishes she could do more. When I tell her she's amazing, she looks a bit embarrassed, but that's just her personality.
3.
My personal hero is Mr. Curtis, who was my teacher in the final 2 years of primary school. As a teacher, he really inspired in me a love of education. He made everything seem so fascinating. History, biology, even maths. They all came to life when he talked about them. It's because of him that I decided to become a teacher myself. That's what I'm studying to become. Although I don't think I'll ever be quite as good as he was. What I remember most clearly is that he was never in a hurry. He always had time for us. And if we didn't understand something, he would explain it again, and again until we got it. He never seemed to lose his temper. Amazing, really. I'm sure we were very annoying.
4.
One of the people I admire most is a man who lives on our street. He's called Vincent, and he's done some amazing things in his life. He's climbed Kilimanjaro, one of the most difficult and highest mountains in the world. As if that weren't enough, he's currently training to attempt the big one, Everest. The most astonishing thing about Vincent is that he's been completely blind from birth. That must make all of his achievements so much more difficult and more frightening too. But he's managed to overcome the fear. As Vincent once said, if you spend too much time thinking about all the dangers in life, you'd never leave the house, let alone climb Everest. I think he's an inspiration to all of us.
Unit 4, page 35. Grammar. Explore. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the dialogue.
Look, Last Action Hero is on at the cinema.
Yeah, but you have to be 15 to see it. We aren't old enough.
I'm old enough. You're not. What about Everyone's Hero? It's not as good as Last Action Hero, but we can both see it.
OK, I'll book the tickets online. Oh no, we're too late. It's sold out.
Try the earlier showing.
That starts in 15 minutes. There isn't enough time to get there.
OK. Let's watch a DVD.
Unit 4, page 35. Grammar. Exploit. Exercise 3. Listen and check.
Now, we need an actor for the part of the hero. Brad Peters is certainly talented enough, but is he tall enough?
No, he isn't. He's only about 1.50 meters. What about Tom Delaney? He's very good.
But he hasn't had enough experience. He's only acted in one film.
Well, Michael Lamb is well known enough. He's appeared in lots of popular films.
Yeah, but he's too old. He'll be 60 next year. And think about his physique. He hasn't got enough muscle. This is an action film, remember?
What about Dave Wilson?
He's always very busy. I'm sure he hasn't got enough time.
Unit 4, Page 37. Language skills. Exercise 1. Listen and check.
Do you have a local hero? You know, someone who helps other people but is too modest to appear in the news.
Well, a friend of mine is a charity worker. He raises money for a charity that helps homeless people. Actually, he's a talented accountant, but he's just not motivated enough to work for a big company.
Charity work must be much more rewarding than working for a big company because you feel that you are making a difference. But lots of successful business people or celebrities also donate generously to charities.
That's true, although I'm sure they enjoy the publicity too. And it's not just a question of money. Working with homeless people can be quite distressing. So, who's your local hero?
The caretaker at school is my hero. He's not as clever as some of the teachers, but he has a great sense of humour. Whenever we're feeling disappointed about something, he always does his best to cheer us up.
Everyday English. 4. Teacher's Book. Page 108. Buying tickets. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the dialogue.
Good afternoon. Can I help?
I'd like 3 tickets for the Valley of the Kings exhibition, please.
Adults or children?
2 16-year-olds and a 13-year-old.
Sorry, did you say 2 13-year-olds?
No, 1 13-year-old and 2 16-year-olds.
OK, that's 1 child and 2 adults. That'll be £18.50. The tickets also give you free entry to the rest of the museum.
Pardon? How much did you say?
That's £18.50 for 3 tickets.
OK, here you are.
Thank you. £20. Here's your change.
Everyday English. 4. Teacher's Book. Page 108. Buying tickets. Exercises 3 and 4. Listen to Chris booking tickets on the phone.
Good evening, New Theatre Box Office.
Oh, hello. Can I book tickets to see Will Young on July the 24th?
July 24th. I'm afraid that concert is sold out.
Oh, what about the 25th? Is that sold out too?
Let me see. We've got tickets at £40 and a few at £25.
Where are the £25 seats? Are they a long way from the stage?
They're at the back of the stalls, in the middle of row M.
OK. I'd like 2 tickets at £25, please.
That's £50. Can I have your card number, please?
3675 3795 2649 3321.
And the expiry date?
0314.
Thank you. And your name and address?
Chris Brown, 22 Marston Road, Birmingham, B31 4TK.
Thank you. I'll put your tickets in the post today.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Literature Corner. 2. Page 38. Exercise 2. Read and listen.
The Railway Children by Edith Nesbit. When the children first went to live at the White House, they talked about Father a lot and were always asking questions about him. But as time passed, their questions seemed to make Mother unhappy, so they stopped asking them. But they never forgot him. Bobby thought about Father often. She knew her mother was unhappy, and she worried a lot about that. And why was Father away for so long? Was there something that Mother wasn't telling them? The answer came on the day she went to the station to fetch the magazines. They were old magazines which people left on trains or in the waiting room. Perks said the children could have them to read, and one day Bobby went to fetch them. "I'll just put some newspaper round them to keep them together," said Perks. And he took an old newspaper from the heap. The magazines were heavy, and Bobby stopped to rest on the way home. She sat on the grass and dropped them beside her. As she did this, she looked at the newspaper and read some of the words on the page. And it was like a terrible dream. She never remembered how she got home. But she went to her room and locked the door. Then she took the newspaper off the magazines and looked at it again. The words seemed to jump out at her. 5 years in prison for spy. And the name of the spy was the name of her father. Bobby was very quiet at tea time. "Is anything wrong?" Mother asked her. "I'm all right," said Bobby. But after tea, Mother went up to Bobby's room. "What's the matter?" she wanted to know. For an answer, Bobby took the newspaper from under her bed and showed it to her mother. "Oh, Bobby," cried Mother. "You don't believe it, do you? You don't believe Daddy is a spy?" "No," said Bobby. "He's good and honest, and he's done nothing wrong," said Mother. "We have to remember that."
Skills Roundup, page 39. Listen. Exercises 1 and 2. Listen to a radio programme about life in North Wales. Good morning and welcome to the programme Country Eye. This week on the programme we are looking at the beautiful region of North Wales and finding out about what life is like for the people who live there. First of all, we have 3 young people from North Wales here in the studio. Welcome to the programme, Bryn, Gareth and Bethan.
Thanks.
First of all, we are going to hear from Bryn. Bryn, can you tell us a little about your life there?
Yes. Well, I was born on our farm in the village of Dylannog, a little village near Welshpool, and I've lived there all my life. My first language is Welsh. We speak it at home, but I learnt English at school. My dad's a sheep farmer, and I've helped him on the farm for as long as I can remember. I think the Welsh countryside is a wonderful place to grow up. As a kid, me and my brothers had a lot of freedom to run about. Everyone is very friendly, but life is difficult sometimes. There isn't much money in sheep farming, and the winters can be hard.
So do you think you'll stay in North Wales then?
Oh, yes. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. When I finish school, I want to study agriculture at college, but then I'll come back to look after the farm with my dad.
What about you, Gareth? Do you feel the same way?
Actually, no, not at all. I come from the small town of Llangollen. I've lived in Llangollen all my life and I can't wait to leave. I mean, Llangollen is beautiful. Quite a few tourists come in the summer to go walking in the hills or visit the famous music festival. It is a nice place and I enjoyed living there when I was younger, but not anymore. Nothing happens and there's nowhere to go. I want to meet new people and try new things. I'm interested in computers, so I'm planning to go to a university somewhere like London or Cardiff. I want to try city life.
So, Bethan, Are you planning to leave the Welsh countryside as well?
Well, no, not really. I live in Carnarvon. It's a small town on the north coast. I've been there all my life, but I don't know if I can stay. You see, there aren't any jobs for people there, especially young people. A lot of young people are moving out of the area because of this. I love where I live. I think it's a beautiful place to live in, but I think that I'll never find a good job there. After I leave university, I'll probably have to live and work somewhere else, and I think that's sad.
I'm sorry to hear that, Bethan. Well, you've heard the views of some young people from the region. What are your views? Call the programme now or send us an email, and we'll read out your opinions at the end of the show. Meanwhile, here's some music.